Hello, everyone. Bill Woods, Janet, Ron, Myrna, Cindy, Johnny Holiday. Let's see. I think I mentioned Janet. And Cindy is here. Yeah, Cindy, I'll give you a call down at your house tonight around 10 my time, so it'll be about 8 your time. A little after 10. I'll leave Ron's at 10. So thanks everybody for coming out. I hope you had a great and amazing weekend. The Masters was on. Uh, Hi, Johnny Holiday. The Masters was on, so that's always a big event for Ron and me, and we watch it. But Papa G, good to see you here. The Masters is something, and golf is something. You have to really care for the sport to want to watch. But let me tell you a quick story. I was watching a video last night, and these announcers that they have doing the Masters, I'm not going to call them idiots because, to be honest with you, it would be an insult to an idiot. The course, I thought this year played really easy. I thought it played tremendous easily if you're a good golfer. I've seen the course play some years where I looked at Ron when me and him used to play 3 and 4 or 5 times a week, and I'd say it'd eat us up. But the question was asked of these two announcers last night, guys. Now listen to this. The question was asked of this one announcer by the other one. If, let's say, a 12 handicap, okay, there was a time I played to that or a little lower. But let's say a 12 handicap goes out, and every hole for 72 holes, he started on the green, would he win the Masters? And they made the statement, no, he wouldn't even finish in the top 10. So my response was, I'm 72 years old. I'm about ready to come into money. I'd pretty much bet you any amount of money. You let me put my ball on the green 72 times and they got to play the whole hole. I guarantee you there's no one going to beat me. My goodness gracious. If you average 4 putts a hole, you'd still shoot par. Now, the question I wanted to ask was, where are they putting it? If it's one of those holes that's 100-foot long, or you got to have a 100-foot putt. Even with a 100-foot putt, you should be able to get up and down in 3. But it's just, they took an amazing event yesterday, and it was a good event. I mean, it was coming down to the end, and there was several people in contention to win. Rory become only the 4th player to go back-to-back. And now they're accusing him of cheating because he was wearing something on his wrist. But, you know, it's amazing. There's cheating in everything. Why are we going to accuse Rory of doing? I mean, it's just amazing the way our world is getting. Nita, Gary, Linda, Patrick. Hey, Vicky. But before I go any further, dear Lord, as we come to tonight's show, Robin Tibbs, a follower of ours for a long, long time. She had surgery today, and we want to pray for her for successful recovery, her and her family and loved ones, to get through this with unscathed and everything be fine. So look after Robin, one of our patriots. Take care of her and get her healthy very soon as we come to you and pray to you through our Father's, your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA.
There's some guys with the Cardinals that just 7 home runs already.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I'd rather stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt of this land. God bless the USA. Next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
So I'm going to go into the kids' version now. God bless the USA. I'm proud to be an American. I'm going to go into the kids' version now. Remember, children, this show is not meant for you unless you have the permission from your grandparents, legal guardians, or great grandparents. Someone who has authority that can give you permission. It's not that the show is bad that I say things anymore. Every now and I slip. Not like I used to when I first started. I could have been known as a potty mouth. The music we just played, we have no legal rights to it. We use it for entertainment purposes only. It's kind of the theme song of our show, David Duffy. So I want to make these statements. And also, if I talk about money tonight, foreign currency or things like that, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just plain Ralph, Patriot 5, along with Patriot 6, that we have our own ideas. Robert Ford, good to see you here. Gary, good to see you here. We just have our ideas. I'm just trying to guide people in ways. And by no means do when I say something about these currency, do you think you need to run as fast as you can to get any, because none of us really know 100% they are legitimate. We're all going by what we're being told. So, hey, Gary. So there's where we're at. I just wanted to cover all bases here. Super Jimmy, you and John, your buddy, you had quite a conversation. I kept going to the show today. I kept going to the website today to get some information for tonight's show. And Jimmy was on there with his messages to his family. And then him and John started having a conversation. I said, "Come on, guys, give me some information for the show. Enough of the buddy. But no, it's good to see people getting along good. And it is what it is. And I started the show off with a prayer for Robin Tibbs. Robin don't get on the show much anymore. She used to, but just because she doesn't get on the show, her and Ron stay in constant contact. Also, I want to include in that prayer Abby, who she's going through some times. And when I end the prayer tonight, I will mention her, but she's going through some time. Not that she's got anything particular right now. And also, I know Cindy's going through some rough times right now, too. Me and Cindy talked a little bit the other day. Dinar, Dong, Zim, Bolivar, and Rupiah. And this and this. And I went and looked at mine today. A young lady I talked to, she says, well, how much of this currency do you have? And I said, if I told you, you'd never believe me. When I went and looked at it today, I didn't believe it. And I'm not bragging, guys. It's just, we all make decisions. You know, my son, and I'll get to the kids in a second. He came into some huge money a while back. I'm huge. Okay. Huge for me. He came into almost $500,000. He started to work several years ago at this company, writing something for insurance companies. He works on a computer. And he came into some money because when he took the position, they give him some stock. And he said, oh, stock's a good thing. So, and I did the same thing at the factory I was at. Hey, just take a little bit out of my check each week. Each time I get paid, take a little bit out and get me some more stock and get me some more stock. And when you work at a place for 10 years or so, it adds up. Well, then the company decided to sell and he came into almost $500,000. But hey, I've always said those who have, it comes easy to. Those who don't, we struggle. Now he gets this and all of a sudden gets changed over to another company. Not only does he get changed over to company, he gets changed over and becomes management. Ooh, big raise. 6 figures up. And I'm very proud of him. But all of a sudden, this new company, they give him a bunch of stock because now he's management. So he got a little more than what he got from the first one. And for 2 years, he had it going out again. In 2 years, they sold to the third company. And he did very well again. If you talk to my son, you think he was poorer than me. Why he doesn't do things, I have no clue. People ask me questions, and I said, you know what? Hey, Karen, good to see you. Ian, I think I've said hi to you already, Ian. But you know, I have no idea why people do what they do. And there was a purpose to that story, and I got going. So, it was coming into money. You know, he doesn't really care for what I do. And I'm going to talk about what we do because there was an article. And I haven't had the best of days recently. And I think my brother, my partner, decided today he's going to put a little firecracker under my rear end. Because he knew when he showed me something, how I would react to it. And the way I reacted to it, he thought I had sent my reply. He looked at me and said, Jeffrey, did you really say that? Yeah, I did 100%, but then I took it down before I posted it. And I said something else to the same line, but a little nicer. And then I took it down. But the third time, I was very nice. I was very sweet. And I posted it. And some lady that I don't even know comes back and kind of ripped me a new one. I'm pretty pleased with my old one. So getting a new one, I really didn't want to talk to her about it. She told me I don't know what I'm talking about. And I said, I tell you what, I'll give you my address and phone number if you give me yours, because by 4th of July, I'll come and tell you with my hat on my head, I told you so. There are so many people out there, and I'm going to talk about that. But I just wanted to bring that up because you're going to understand what I'm going to talk about, because I think it's even going to aggravate some patriots that are here. So, Jimmy, I hope you had a good weekend. I don't know how the weather is there. The weather the last 2 days here has been in the 70s. It was supposed to reach 80. I actually went outside and did my walks today. I walked a mile out of town, a mile back in. Beautiful day. I was going to put on shorts, but I had a doctor's appointment, and I didn't trust the doctor with these hunky legs here, so I put on long pants. Only to be told you got to go get some test run. Super Jimmy, I had to go get some test run. I got a few miles out of town heading into the hospital to get them run. It started raining so hard you couldn't see 2 feet in front of you, so I pulled off. I said, enough of this. When it eased up, I sent Ron a message, and I said, oh, my God, you won't believe what it's doing here. And he said, yeah, I would. It's doing it here, too. I turned around, and I headed home. I called the doctor, and I said, I'll go get it sometime this week, but I'm not driving in this stuff. They said, we don't blame you. But I waited for a car that was coming before I pulled out into the traffic. And a lady behind me sat behind me and did some very nasty things to me because I wouldn't pull out in front of a car and get in a wreck. What is the matter with the people in this world, Tony and Kevin? But Jimmy, I hope you got outside today because, you know, as Julia told me, this is the time of the year that things start living again. The grass starts getting green. I actually seen a couple people mowing their grass today. The trees come alive. The flowers come back alive. They die over the winter. And I never thought of it that way, but it's true. So I took pictures of my flowers. I took pictures of my flowers out in my yard, and I sent them to her. And you'd have thought I sent her $1 million just by sending her a picture of my flowers. She loved them so much. They're nothing fancy right here. My tulips, they come back alive. And I told her, I said, well, they came back alive. They died in the winter, and they come back alive. And she said, that's the most amazing thing I've ever heard, that they come back alive. And I said, sweetie, you told me that. Patriot 11, she told me that. And now she's amazed that I'm telling her back. I guess she's another one of those women that think men don't listen. And you know, most of the time we don't. We don't listen. Patriots, Karate Kid and Patriot Wyatt Earp. I bet you don't listen to mom and dad all the time. But you should. You got that, right? Because I'd never say anything bad about your mom. And then Jana Taylor, finally starting to do some videos again about her cooking. I thought she had given up. She comes on and she posts all these things. Patriot Princess, our queen, and Patriot Hunter. I don't see how you two stay so slim if you're eating all of Grandma's pastries. My goodness gracious. I put on 5 pounds there 1 month just watching all of her videos on them things. I have no idea what I would have gained if after, I mean, I made every attempt. Jana, hey, you know, them things will come in a box, and they'll come in a box and I'll deliver them to my post office, and I can get them and I can enjoy them. She never took the hint. Patriot Bugs, Boogaloo, Boogaroo, and Boogie. What do you think about that? She would never take the hint and send me any pastries. I never asked for money, but I never turned down a good donut or a roll or something like that. You know, Patriot, Little Leona, and Little Elan, I got something here I want to share. See the picture of the lady there in the blue? That's my mom. That's who Little Leona was named after. And the girl in her wedding dress up against my mom is Patriot Little Elan's grandmother. Isn't it amazing when you can do something like that? And I tell you, I was talking to Kelly, the grandmother of Little Elan, and I said, man, I got this picture at home of my mom and you at your wedding. She said, I'd love to have it. And I was going to give it to her. And I thought, man, when we had the fire in the house, when mom's house burnt, back in 93. We lost so much. Lost her pictures. When my mom died, me and Ron forgot to lock and throw away the key to the door, and the hordes of the nieces and nephews and grandchildren and other brother and sister-in-law and sister and brother-in-law, oh, they got into the house to see what they could get. Even though it was Ron's house, they did not respect his privacy. So we didn't end up, me and him, with a lot of things. So when I get something I don't want to give away, so I went and made a copy. Unfortunately, you seen there were some lines through it, and it got wet somehow. But just imagine that. Two kids that we talk about. Right there was the lady, my mom. The lady that when I was 48 years old, she passed away. And that day she was still talking to her cousin, one of her best friends in the whole world. And when a cousin said, Gary, what are you doing, Leona? She said, I'm sitting here having lunch with my oldest son and my baby boy. The day that my mom died at 48 years old, I was still her baby boy. Carrie 333664, I'll never forget that, Papa G. There are some things you never forget. Yesterday in the Ukraine, kids, was actually Easter, the real Easter, when Easter was supposed to be. It was yesterday. So today, where Julia and Masha write us letters, we didn't get any letters today. We'll get one tomorrow. But I really hope they had a great Easter. But you know, they told us that they had some money and it was getting the kids Patriot cutie pie and Patriot 17 some candy for Easter. And then they was going to have a nice meal for Easter. And they was putting the war behind them. There's a ceasefire, which I think there's been a ceasefire for a long time. Carrie and Papa G and David, Tony and Johnny. Oh, Johnny, how are you doing? Elaine, good to see you here. And then my lady who takes care of me, Janet's here tonight. I know I'm always safe and no one's going to hurt me when Janet's here, and Myrna's here taking care of me along with all of you others. The other day, Patriot super gymnast. She's been trying to do this something background off, and she's been so close and so close and so close. The other day, she nailed it. Now, just for her to complete it and do it is one thing. And I'm telling you, when she became a gymnast, I didn't think she stood a stoneball chance. And you know where? I backed her, Tony and Carrie. I backed her because she's my granddaughter, and I love her as much as anybody, if not more than any person in this whole world. She's got this little thing now that when I'm around and we're at sports events for either, yesterday we had a soccer game. It was little gymnast, first soccer game. And I'm sitting there in my chair and I'm watching, enjoying the game. And she has a tendency, my little Patriot super gymnast comes up and she takes my hat and she takes off and she runs all over. And her mom will say, give your papa his hat back. And she just smiles. I asked her the other day, I said, do you want a hat like this? I found some brand new. And she said, nope. When we're out like that, I just want yours. And she said, I'm not trying to embarrass you because you're bald headed. And it don't matter to me. Some people's got hair. Some people's got brains. I'm just saddened that I was shorted on both of them. You know, Patriot 7, I had to laugh yesterday. He's had a great year. It's a great sports year. He won a Super Bowl. He was an all-star in baseball. Sucked in basketball. But he don't like the sports. He don't like basketball. But yesterday we're sitting there watching the little girl playing her soccer game. And they had a taco stand. Now, instead of a candy stand, you go up and get a hot dog or popcorn or something. They had a taco stand. He looks at his dad, and he says, "Can I have some money for tacos?" Man, his dad didn't even blink an eye. Nope. Why not? Well, maybe because when I asked you to help me work on the tree today, you thought it was more important to go fishing. Well, I didn't get to go fishing. Nope. Because your mom wouldn't let you because you wouldn't help me work on the tree. Now I'm going to go get some tacos and eat them in front of you. Needless to say, David give in. David is Grandma Bo's. Their dad is Grandma Bo's grandson. The other grandson, Steve, is the little gymnast coach. And I'm telling you, I parked almost 2 blocks away because there were so many cars there yesterday. And when I got out of the car, her coach is, come on, go. He is just warming them up. And I just followed his voice, and I knew right. There's like 10 fields there, and I knew exactly what field to go to. Aunt Susie, an aunt of David and theirs, who just lost her house in a fire, she came over just to watch the game. She's living with her mom now, who lives about 2 blocks away. She walked out the door and she said, "Oh, that's Steve." She followed the voice just right over and came right to the game. But you know what? I'm okay with that because he was yelling loud, but he was yelling loud, not yelling at the kids, but nothing but encouragement. And I've not seen anybody coach any kid in any kid's sports in a long time since me and Ron used to coach kids. And we coached them to have fun. And that's what he did yesterday. And boy, I tell you, when they scored a goal, he was their biggest cheerleader. I almost said we need to get him some pom-poms. Isn't it crazy when things like that happen? Small Hank had a tournament over the weekend for his martial arts. He didn't do too well. But you know what? He gave it all. I looked at him when he came home and he was depressed. And he said, "I didn't do good, Grandpa Hank." And I said, "Let me ask you a question." He said, "What?" And Papa G, when he asked me if he could ask me a question, I asked him a question. I said, "Did you do your best you could do?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Did you mess around? Did you horse around, or was you giving it everything you had?" He said, "Actually, Grandpa Hank, I think I give it more than I had. But they were just better than me." Then I said, "Don't hang your head, but keep your head up high because you're a winner. It doesn't matter if you get a medal and somebody else does. Somebody else may get a medal because they're bigger than you or they're faster than you, or they just have more talent than you. But if you went out there and did everything you could possibly do, and you're telling me you did, and to my knowledge, you've never lied to me." And he looked at me and he said, "Grandpa Hank, that's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me." So good to see you here, Carrie. I might have said that already, but hey, what the heck? You're down there. Ooh, someone's must doing something good. Carrie's yumming. And then there's little Patriot little Kira. And I came out of my bedroom tonight to get ready to come down to Ron's to do the show. And she's sitting on the sofa, not paying attention to me at all, coming out of my bedroom, which is right off the living room where she was at. She snuggled up to her daddy like a little, just as cute could be. And I snuck over and I went like that, and she jumped. Then I started tickling her. I had to quit tickling her because I thought she was going to pee her pants, Tony. So that concludes tonight's version of The Children. Remember, kids, this video is not made for you, but you can watch it if you have grandparent parental, or somebody old enough to give you permission, somebody that they won't come back and tell me, "Oh, Patriot 5, we're taking your show down because you talked about the kids." So that concludes tonight. I was talking about, and I am not a financial advisor, and the music we played, I've already covered that. It's for entertainment purposes only. But I was talking before I went into the kids section about something that was posted, and it was a post of a picture of DJT like he's Jesus Christ. And there's this man talking, And every time he said a word, it was just like diarrhea out of the mouth.
He didn't know what he was talking.
He had no clue about what he was talking about. You could tell he was a rat. You could tell he was just doing this to get stupid people to agree, but unfortunately, two of the stupid people that agreed, two of the people that agreed, I will not call them stupid, was my sister-in-law and my niece. And he talked about something about a POPE, a poppy, you know what I mean? And they talked something about a VAT, you know, whatever that place is. And one of the people replied, he's such an idiot for talking about the POPE like that. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, for two people that think they're so smart, they're so clueless. The other one said some very bad things about us. And the man doing the talk was really Janet and Myrna and Carrie and Papa G and David. The man doing the talking was really, really, really cutting down the hat. But see, I want to ask everybody a question. Why is it the rats who follow the rats? You know, that place, that group of people that's about extinct. Johnny, why is it that people love them? People like my niece and my sister-in-law and other people, they love them people like that. People who's from the day we were born took things from us. People from the day we were born, and in every time I can remember going back when I was a kid, good people run this country. And I can remember there was a fence row that would lead down to this creek where there was nice water, and we blocked it off and made it a dam there so we could just keep it deep enough so we could go swimming there. And I remember the water thing coming out of the ground into the creek. And I can remember drinking straight out of that, putting our mouth up and just drinking straight out of that. And then the rats took over. And if you did that now, you wouldn't be here 20 minutes after you did it. Why is it they love these people that are doing everything they can to get rid of them? You know why? Because there's still people that believed in that stuff that one year when they told you to wear a mask, when they told you that you had to get this thing put in your arm, when they told you, I literally had a doctor say, if you won't do this, you cannot be my patient no more. I walked out smiling and said, there really is God. He just got rid of a pain in my rear end, you know. It's why do they believe in people like this? But a man whose sole purpose is to make America great again, whose sole purpose is to help the country. Why is another country calling him the president of their country? The only president in the history of presidents that has lost money. He had it all. He had everything. He had women. Melania. My goodness, is there any woman, there's never been a first lady any more beautiful than her. The only one that can even compare is Jackie. But see, why is it that when I mention to these people, you want to know what's going on? You want to know the truth? Go to YouTube or someplace where you can pull up videos and just try to find a video in 1962 that President JFK made, and he made this statement. He made this statement in a video in 1962, them black and white, terrible videos that we used to have back then, but we thought they was great because we could see each other on camera. He made the statement in that video in 1962 with a 2-year-old son, Junior. 2 years old. And he said, DJT will become the 45th president of the United States of America. Jeffrey and John, Johnny, Janet, Tony, David. Correct me if I'm wrong, Papa G, but who was the 20? Right over here in the section over here. Who was the 45th president? Because he said exactly who it would be. And he also said with his son by his side, my 2-year-old son in the 1990s will fake his death and come back and help him. What happened in the 1990s? He was a man before his time. And I just only hope and pray that when I was a 10-year-old boy and they said that they took him away, I've never to this day ever believed that they did. I'm not telling this story, guys, because I'm trying to act like I knew it all. No, I was a hurt fourth grader that they said that they had taken my president away. And I said, no, nobody can kill my president. No one can take my president away. And now, Papa G, now David Duffy and Jeffrey and Janet, now I think we're about ready to see who's right and who's wrong. And all I told these people about this idiot that was talking the way he was talking, all I said was our day is going to come. Why would you back somebody that they want to do everything to hurt the whole world and support some? And why would you support them and dislike the man who's doing everything they can to make America and the world great again? He had it all. He was a billionaire and he's lost a couple $1 billion by being the position he's at. And I'm going to tell you something right now, guys. There's sometimes I get so frustrated at him that, but ask yourself this question. Everyone over here that's still with me in the show tonight, ask yourself this question. Is there anybody else that you would rather have trying to do what he's doing? Is there anybody else you think would even give you half of the effort that he's giving? And yes, we get frustrated because we're supposed to cross the finish line. We get frustrated because we all are needing and hurting. We want the money. We want the beds. I had a lady the other night say to me, she's a pretty prominent lady. I'm not going to mention names. But she said to me, I'm going to donate $20,000 of my earnings from when I played a certain sport and I won some money. I'm going to donate $20,000 to help this little boy. He's 10 years old and he has cancer. What can you donate? And I said, nothing. She called me pretty much every name but what I am, and that's a white man. She called it all. But I didn't waver. I tried to talk to her about things, and just be careful because it doesn't matter who they are. They're all trying to scam everyone. Each and every one. Each and every one is trying to get whatever they can get. You know, I go on TikTok and they'll say, so-and-so just requested you to be a friend. I'm the type of person, okay, I accept. I follow them back. Robert Ford, these people are important people. And the first thing he says is, I'm in love with you. Wow. And I said, okay, what's my name? Well, it doesn't matter because I don't have to know your name to be in love with you. But could you give me a $50 card? Oh, my goodness. I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't care. I don't care if they kick me off if they're watching this video. I don't care. This has nothing to do with YouTube. But I'm going to tell you, I go to TikTok because people like Savior and other Bill Woods and other, I think you were there, Bill, and several other people go there and they send me videos to watch. To go there and try to talk to people. I also go there to watch a little girl skate. She's from Russia and she's went through some bad times, but she's back now and I guarantee you she'll win the 2030 Olympics. And that hurts me to say because I'm an American and I'm proud to be an American. But to know that whoever goes into the 2030 Olympics for skating in the women's platform, they're skating for silver or bronze. This little girl can do things, and she's had such a rough life. Oh, yeah, I've talked to her too, if I've talked to her. But, you know, I've actually did a video chat with her, so she's either real good at imitating her or I've talked to her. But, you know, Myrna, it's just something that mainstream media news is supposed to be cleaned up. Why hasn't it been? Why are we still struggling? Why are we going through everything that we're going through? You know, there's a song. Go back to when you was a kid. And I go back to when I was in Bible school as a young kid. And there was a song, Jesus loves me. Yes, I know. For the Bible tells me so. We may be weak, but he is strong. Jesus loves me. Yes, I know. Yes, it is, Myrna, full of armchair quarterbacks. But think of it. Jesus loves me. Yes, I know. But now, why aren't we taking that step? Why aren't we taking that foot and dropping down the bomb? I'm not talking a bomb that explodes. I'm just talking about why don't we put an end to this? Why do we let these countries, you know, guys, I'll get off of this subject in a second. But I read an article the other day on Facebook. It was kind of by some people that I might have talked about. And they made the statement that DJT is a idiot. He's probably been called worse, but and then they make the statement that Putin, if he was our president, we would be great. Yeah, let's see. DJT keeps us out of war, puts the hammer down, and wins anything we get involved with. Why Putin just keeps getting richer and richer and richer. But how many empty chairs are there at the dinner table that their sons and daughters won't be coming home because of Putin? How many empty chairs are there in the Ukraine, or empty beds that no one will ever sleep in and no one will ever set in again because a Putin won't end this thing? And I know the reason he went in there, and he's got it done. And that's going to be the most shocking thing in the world. When people, like I've talked about earlier in that other idiotic video, that man said what he said and these people commented, that's going to be the hardest thing when these people that are supporting this man finds out that the hat is one that's good, that all he's ever had was our interest in his heart. Oh, I was trying to see what I had here. So, no, that's not what I wanted.
There's that nice little article I sent you about.
What's that?
There's a nice little article I sent you about notifications.
Yeah.
I mean, watch out, because there's false notifications going around about the RV.
Here's something from Tux News, Carol and Dennis, Redemption Day, a message from God, 4/13/26. Heard 4/12/2026. Today you shall see great changes in my world. You may not see them immediately, but you will turn around and look back in just a few days, and you will see that I greatly moved all that is happening. Yes, all of it for the greater good. I work all things together for good for those who love me. Yes, that is happening. It's coming together for a great climax and a terrible day for the people that does not believe in me. I am putting it all together, and everything will be coming together at the same time. You may say, I don't see how Iran is going to affect my silver and how the wealth transfer can possibly occur, and there's going to be people gone all over the world. My child, rest and do not grow weary. The time is at hand, and remember, my Hebrew children had no option but to walk by faith and step into the Red Sea, which I dried up at every exact, precise moment. I did not let my Hebrew children, and I am not going to let my son's bride, his church go down either. I am that I am. I am the great God, Jehovah. There is none like me, and I can do exploits and all things. All I need is some saints with a mustard seed of faith. So get on board my train and watch what I do, how I do it, and when I do it. I cannot give you the win. My girl has been like a child, a candy store asking me, but I can't tell her, and I won't tell her either. You must trust me and know that you know that I am going to move. Trust me in all that I said, and I am going to do it, and I will be even better than you ask or think. It is coming, and you, my saints, my remnant, in crowd, church, have stood and waited for years. Your wait is almost over, and soon you will see the greatest and most deadly move by me on earth. Oh, yes, my wrath is coming and my hand is going to move. I am coming and I'm going to not only shake everything, I am going to change everything. Yes, everything in one day. That's all I need. And when the day is done, you will thank me and it's over. But you will rejoice and be glad. Much will happen in the days to come. It will be long, hard day for some, but you have to be warned. You have been prepared, and you are to walk in love and not fear. Fear not the day and the days to come. Fear after the reverse rapture, and the fear not anything I have told you how to prepare. And I have sent hundreds and thousands of messages through all of the prophets. Some have been code or stealth, or I have given some the easy and some the harder words. But you all know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So be free, joyful, as redemption day as redemption day is growing charge shorter, and how you weather this day is your choice. How you weather this day is your choice. Choose life and not death. Choose peace and not chaos and confusion. Choose rest and not weariness. So, my saints, I have poured out my hearts. My heart is always on each of you as I am in love with you. The messages will come and the messages will go, but I will never leave nor forsake. Enjoy the spring weather. The summer will have its heat, but you will also be inside enjoying your summer refreshments and your cool air conditioners. I love you. That says a lot. Looking at the big picture, it is absolutely clear the Dems were so against fracking and U.S. oil productions, they didn't want the U.S. to become self-sustaining energy powerhouse. Why? Because the Dems are owned by foreign actors trying to destroy this nation. The newest move for the hat confirms that he has a plan, has a timeline, and is thinking many steps ahead. The hat removed Chinese influence over Panama Canal, took out Maduro, and gained control of Venezuela oil supply because he knew his standoff with Iran would happen. Anyone claiming that the hat doesn't have a plan or is dumb, just objectively wrong. You might not like the hat or agree with his plan, but the fact that he has a plan is incontrovertible. All the pundits and experts were all and will continue to be dead wrong about everything. Be careful. Please be careful of fake notifications are being sent out for RV exchange. Very elaborate, realistic. Make sure that you know it's true. Just be careful. Ask a friend, did you get this thing? Ask a neighbor, anyone that you know that should be getting notifications. Maybe even go in and send a message to Bruce on the big call and say, Bruce, is this true? Everything is going to be fine, guys. But remember, they told us the closer we got, the more that would come out. Here's a picture of the hat. He's kind of standing in the dark, but he says, tomorrow, an announcement is coming. Did you hear me, everyone? Tony and Janet and Nita. Did you hear me, Ian and Bill and David and John, Robert? He says, tomorrow, an announcement is coming. Here's what he says after that. I made a promise. I have never broken it, and I never will. So, according to the hat, tomorrow, there will be a major announcement. Will there? Some way, somehow, he'll cover his backside. He always does. He's the master of that. Will it be the announcement we're looking for? I sure hope so. Because I'm telling you, I did so much research and so much looking at those things over the weekend. I did so much of this stuff because I wanted to know. I wanted to stay excited. I wanted tonight when I write Julia, I wanted to give her great information about the war. And I've told her for a long time, and I'll say it again. I truthfully 100% believe that the war in them two countries is done. I believe they're at a standstill and they're just waiting. And the one thing that's holding them up is there's a place called Donbass. It's a region, and Russia wants it because it's full. It's kind of like one of these places that the hat's going and getting control of. It's full of so much minerals and oils and you name it, it has it. But the Ukraine does not have the money to get it out of the ground and do what they need to do. And if they're willing to give that up, but that gives away so much of their money and their future. So the simple plan in my mind, and I can't see why the hat can't see this, the simple plan is let them work together. Don't give it up, but let Russia come in and work it and give them for the first 5 years 75% of all profit made. It's going to be millions and millions and billions of dollars for both countries. And in 5 years now, the Ukraine will have enough money that they can go 50-50. And let it be a sovereign province where they're both living there. But why should a province have to go to another country? Why should they change the country that they're living in just because the one country wants to be a bully? And this is where the hat needs to step in, and he needs to put the hammer down. Restored Republic via the GCR April 13, 2026. As you guys might know, Judy did not have information yesterday. She took a day off. Good for her. In this report from journalist and author Judy Byington, a monumental shift of global financial landscape is reportedly unfolding. As of mid-April 2026, the long-discussed transition from fiat currency to gold asset-backed a system has arose and is now actually in place and moved from theory to reality. According to a report, a restored republic is emerging backed by the global currency reset, GCR, that aims to dismantle the existing D blank, 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 E financial structures and return economic power to we, the people. The core of Byington's report centers on a decisive move E blank 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 D on Tuesday, April 7, 2026. It is claimed that President the Hat transitioned 209 countries into gold asset-backed global currency reset. The shift effectively ends the reign of the fiat dollar, a system that reports describes as a debt S blank 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 Y. In its place, a sovereign gold-backed U.S. Treasury note system has been established. This transition isn't just about currency, it's about a total overhaul of the tax system. The report indicates that the federal income tax have been abolished, replaced by a simple 14% sales tax on new goods and various tariffs, signaling a massive meltdown from the traditional financial empire. Technologically, The shift is being driven by the quantum financial system, or QFS. As of April 6, 2026, the QFS become operational across 209 nations. The most significant technical milestone was the D blank 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 H of the SWIFT system, replaced by the ISO 20022 format. This new standard for financial messaging affects over 11,000 banks and trillions of dollars in daily transactions. By moving away from the old SWIFT rails, the new system aims to eliminate the foundation of error that characterizes the 2 quadrillion derivatives market, replacing it with transparent asset linked infrastructure that prevent banks from loaning out money they do not actually hold. For those following the GCR closely, the focus is shift to the TIERED groups of funding. We are currently in the window for the tier 4B, the internet group, are the awakened digital community. The report suggests that notifications for this group are expected between April 14th and April 16th, 2026. This phase involves private appointments at redemption centers rather than traditional banks. Notably, the report warns that banks may offer lower rates or lack the authority to handle specific access like the Zimbabwe bond, ZIM. Redemption centers are designated as the primary hubs for establishing new wallets and securing high contract rates for currencies like the dinar. The scale of the reset is staggering, with over 106 billion reportedly in circulation for citizens payouts accessible via Q phones, while the general public, tier 5, remains largely unaware. The transition is moving at an awe-inspiring pace. Bond funds are being delivered to paymasters, and the new treasury dollar is expected to see a symbolic full-scale reset by July 4th, 2026. According to Bidington, we are at the end of the road for our financial era. While the resistance from the cabal remains, the report remains that the system is safe and the transition is inevitable. For the awakened community, the message is clear. Have your projects ready, keep your plans organized, and prepare for a world where gold, not debt, governs the global economy. That does it, guys. I thought that was a good way to end. Good information. I talk some, whatever early. I give you guys an hour to talk over here. I love glancing over and seeing people, Stephanie and David and people, Robert. Now, guys, Robert is 6 hours ahead of us. So as we approach here where I'm at, 8 o'clock, Robert's looking at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he's such a loyal Patriot, Patriot 5 and Patriot 6. I have received today and over the weekend, I have received some notifications from some people that when we go to the redemption centers, they're still hoping to work with Patriot 5, Patriot 6 group on projects. Anybody wanting to do this, whether you got currency or not, please let me know. We'll make a list. We'll contact everybody. See, I'm hoping and praying that just because we go to the redemption center, we get the money, we can come on here and maybe talk projects. We can come on here, just give you guys a chance. I don't want this to just, boom, there it goes. There's so many people I hear as soon as we reevaluate that they're done. They're leaving their groups. I want to stay with the group. This is a family. That's why it's Patriot 5, Patriot 6, and family.
We want to have reunions.
We want to have reunions. We want at least once or twice a year we go someplace. Hey, if me and Ron have to pick up the bills, so what? But the thing of it is, we want these special beds. And I was going to put something in there tonight about the beds, but there was so much information and I had things I wanted to talk about. Because, see, in the position I'm in, the video that the gentleman posted it, family members really cut my man down, my president down. I knew I had to talk about that because if I don't get it out of my system, it's gonna take me down. But I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out, for being here. And we'll be back. Export 1871 will be back on Wednesday night. Bruce was talking in his show last Thursday, and he said that who knows, we may get notifications. Everything I've heard, and this has stayed strong since I heard it from Bruce on Thursday, that he had heard from 3 different high ups. Then Judy Bidington heard it. Then other people heard it. I've heard Mark Z and Charlie Ward. I've heard all of these people come out and say that tomorrow, the 14th, 15th, and 16th could be our days. Will they be? I don't know. But I'm sure the heck going to look forward to waking up in the morning, and I'm sure going to say prayers tonight before I go to bed. So keep your emotions high. Keep your spirits up, because, guys, I believe we're so close, but it doesn't matter. We got to have our health. We got to have our health, or we got nothing. Dear Lord, as we come to the end of tonight, I already said a prayer for one of our followers, and Abby, I know she's doing good. She talked to Ron the other day, Lord, and she's doing okay, but look after her. Get her to where she can go to every concert she wants, Lord. Get her to where the concerts become free. Money's not going to be an issue. I read something that you wrote tonight. It's all there. And we come to you, talk to you, and pray to you for the health and the welfare of every one of us in the group, everyone in the world. And let's, Lord, help us open the eyes of these other people. Let us all work together as one and make this heaven on earth like you've always wanted, as we come to you, pray to you through our Savior, your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. Good night, everyone. God bless, and we'll see you Wednesday night. If maybe before, maybe there'll be a celebration call tomorrow.